Yeah, bye. All right, XOXO. Got a girl. Audra at Home is filmed in front of a live Pitbull audience. Hello, and welcome to another Coffee Before Bed chat. This is a little thing that I do where I just try to let the little things in my brain out. It's more an exercise in letting my ADHD brain release some stuff so that I can sleep. And tonight, well, have I got a little tale for you. See, I've been thinking, and what I've thought is, skinny bitches need to stay the fuck out of fat bitches' business. I know, you're about to say,
But Audra, you're skinny. You're in fat bitch business.
I see, you almost had me, but the thing is, this isn't for them. This is for the thin mints, all right? This is for you. Inevitably, at least once a week, I see it go down. Comment sections all around. Twitter, YouTube, TikTok. Inevitably, anytime fat women and femmes are having conversations about their difficulties with finding clothing, body shaming, living in the world as a fat person, in slides a Thin Mint. Body shaming is bad for everyone. Baby, I know, ain't nobody trying to have the oppression Olympics. Jesus. But the thing is, that's not why, as a Thin Mint, you slid into that conversation. You slid into it because you didn't like the fact that thinness wasn't being centered in this conversation, i.e., you weren't being centered in this conversation. Now, I know you're going to be all in my business, but I'm telling you because I've done it. I have since learned my lesson. I feel like this was 2016. Oh my God, that was 6 years ago. Jeez. Anyways, it's around 2016 and my goofy ass thought, I'm going to throw my 2 cents in. And you know what I learned? I should have kept my 2 cents and I should have just listened. Because listening is how you learn, right? You see, because I've listened regularly and I've observed, one of the things I realize is that Thin Mint problems are absolutely nowhere near fat people problems at all. At all. So for instance, I have multiple examples in the past 2-3 weeks where I have just been able to walk into a store because I had a period incident. I haven't had one of those in a really long time, but I was out and about. And you know what? I stopped at the store, grabbed a few pairs of pants, changed in the bathroom. Everything was Gucci. All right? No problems, no issues. You know why I did that? Because I knew I could. There was never any thought in my mind that any store that I ran into to do this wouldn't carry my size. In fact, for a new makeup nonsense bingo, I don't know, about a month ago at this point, I went out to eat dinner with my mother beforehand. However, I am in Texas, as I have said previously. And a fun thing about Texas is as soon as the temperature is consistently 75 degrees, they turn the temperature inside every building to -30, meaning you must always have a coat, jacket, sweater, cardigan, long sleeves, something to protect you from the Arctic cold inside. And I did not have a jacket with me. I was wearing a cute tank dress, and I rarely get to wear my dresses these days. So I was like, I'm gonna put on my tank dress. Realizing that I don't have a jacket, what do? I stop at a store, grab a jacket. Again, there's never gonna be an issue. I am never going to walk into a store and they don't carry my size. And please note that I said carry, not ran out of. This is an important factor because when you are thin, virtually every store you run into carries your size. Every single one. Now, we're not going to get into specialty stores because you know damn well why they have specialty stores. I don't want to hear it. Don't start playing that card with me. It's the same people who try to play that card are the same people who are like, well, what if a black brand only made makeup for black people? Shut up. You know what you're doing. You're centering the conversation on yourself in a different way. what I'm trying to say here is that it's never been an issue for me. It's never been a problem. It's never been a situation that I've ever had to consider in my life, even at my biggest, for whatever that's worth. I've never had to consider that a store wouldn't carry my size. You know what I mean? Because they always have. I can go on vacation, even down to underwear, and just be like, I'm not bringing these things. I will buy them in the new location. And that, as I have learned from observing, paying attention, and not saying my issue, is something I've learned through watching people in fat communities talk about this, talk about their difficulties in life. And the last thing they really want is us thin mints, coming in, trying to compare our struggles. It's just not comparable. And again, it's not the oppression Olympics. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that like, it's fine if somebody body shames you if you're thin, because that's not what I'm saying. But I am definitely going to say that for me in my life, I'm fully aware that the majority of the body shaming that comes my way, again, not warranted, not wanted, and not okay, comes from a place of envy, not a place of meanness, hatred, and nastiness. Fat phobia is a bitch, fam. And the way that people treat you when you're fat, again, learn to listen, because the things that I hear people say and talk about and watch, it's just like, I don't even know how difficult it really must be to walk through life every day dealing with this bullshit from people who don't even know you. They literally see you and make a judgment. And that's what we do anyway, right? We all look at people, we all make judgments. But imagine everybody's judgment about you just being that you are lazy, that you must stink, that you're unattractive, that you don't care about yourself. These are normal things that people think and say about fat people to their faces, even, you know? Fucking weird. And I think what really set me off on this train, my final, I guess, little thought here, was I started watching on Twitter the battle cry against Shein go up. And I was like, oh, what the fuck? What's happened this time with Shein? You know? What did they do? And it turns out that everybody's complaining because they're like, they're fast fashion and blah, 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 blah. And you know what's funny about this whole conversation is it smells a lot like fucking fat phobia. And here's why it smells like that. I know you're like, Audra, how can you smell it? I can smell it because right before this dust up started, there were literally like fat persons posting about like their joy with Shein because it finally had sizes for them. Like they have sizes that make it for them, and they're cute, babes. They're cute. They're not having to walk around in a tent, a frock of unimaginable proportions that isn't cute, you know? They're out here being able to like sashay, shantae. They're out here being able to do the thing, feel comfortable and confident. Because another fun thing that I had to learn was that apparently for a lot of fat persons, a lot of fat bodies, shopping in store isn't an option. And the reason that this whole Shein hullabaloo smells and stinks to high heaven of fat phobia is that before all of this Shein love for the fat community started coming up, nobody had any problems. I mean, yeah, people will say their shit, but we all have our arguments back and forth about fast fashion. But it wasn't the same. I noticed that there was a very targeted, directed meanness about this. Even in going so far as to talk about how much people spend, but I noticed it came directly after the fat girlies were having a good time. You see what I'm saying? So the thin mints out here mad as shit that their little secret, which Shein isn't a secret, you weirdos, was getting quote unquote ruined by fat bodies. And now the easiest way to make it seem unimportant, to make people stop shopping there, to ruin it, is to go back into the old bag of tricks, which is, it's destroying the earth, guys. Everything's destroying the earth. We don't really have a chance of stopping it at this point. Let's just live. But it's weird, you know? It's just weird. I feel like if a lot more of us thin mints just listen and try to understand instead of trying to interject and take the spotlight, which is inevitably what you are trying to do, whether you know it or not, by trying to compare your thin struggle with a fat person, you are trying to maintain some form of status that you too are also oppressed. Babes, no. Okay? It's becoming just unbecoming to do this. Let it go. I get it. Somebody once yelled at you that you needed to eat a burger because you're so skinny. Me too. But I'm okay. And also, still not the same thing. These two things are not comparable. And if you want to talk about your skinny struggles, make your own thread. Make your own thread. Don't hijack fat people's posts, fat people's conversations, fat people's videos with your conversation about thinness. If you want to talk about thinness, the internet is not free, but you're using it. You know what I'm saying? You can hop on and do your own thing. Anyways, that's it. That's all I've got. I'm going to bed because I'm like super tired. And I really wasn't expecting to be this tired so early because it's only like 9:20 p.m. But you know, I'm old and I took my Bayer fam. Anyways, this video, like all of my videos, are in fact sponsored or is in fact sponsored by my patrons and channel members, without whom I would not be able to sit in this beautiful chair filled with unpacked boxes behind me, because no, I have not unpacked. It'll happen next year. Next year. I just need you to not be judgy. It's gonna take as long as it's gonna take for me to unpack. I'm always working. Let a bitch live. All right, well, you know, let the names roll and let me sleep. All right, I'm gonna do a little dance.